One. Welcome back to Grandshelt Knights, to a show where we discuss FFBE. Today we're joined by our fellow knights, Awesome,
Hello.
Kuja,
Hello.
Zero,
Hey guys, what's up?
and also we got our special guest here, Twitch streamer, Velociraptor42.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Um, and I'm your host, Panda. And today we're going to be discussing about these new banners we get. We got new units, 7 stars, and kind of a mix-up with a kind of weird way how they've worded this new event for this week that we've got. But first off, we're going to start off with the new 7-star batches with the banners. We've got, on the first banner we've got here is Balthier, Fryavia, CG Sakura, Elfrida, and Roy. Kuja, do you want to fill us in on that?
So, well, I guess we'll kind of go and explain the STMRs and any of the real changes that they've had. So let's start off with Balthier. His STMR is Zodiac Shot, increase attack 80% when equipped with a gun, and increase physical damage against machines. That's very good. If you have 4 of them, you're not gonna need 2 ever. So it's a good STMR, and it proves that Gumi just can't stand machines.
Yeah, it does. I will agree with that. One thing also, that STMR is screaming Olive. Because gun mastery, like a way better one. That makes it a lot better. Makes Olive way more better with
More
that attack.
machine killer?
Yeah, oh god. She can murder machines. Well, one thing we should also talk about is Roy. He was the one that did not get any love this time.
Well, I mean, he didn't get any upgrades. I mean, he did get some love. He's not
terrible.
His STMR is terrible.
Oh yeah, because it's two-handed.
Yeah, it's
also a harp.
Yeah,
but at the same time, Aiko can use these.
yeah. And my issue is not that it's a harp; it's that the stats are too low for it to be a two-handed weapon.
I agree
They're
with that.
just not high enough.
What do you think
Even
about
though
it?
even if it's an STMR, it's still like 156 spirit to take up 2 hands. That's
A lot.
Well, you're also getting
crappy
30%
shield
spirit
and a low end like staff, unfortunately.
What were you
And
saying?
it's got extra stats on it, but just
Velociraptor.
okay.
What were you saying
Yeah.
about Roy?
I was saying that he's got the extra 30% spirit on the harp that might actually make it a little bit more worthwhile. But overall, I mean, I say this as a person who actually still uses him because I've not been blessed with CG Nicole or Seaside Nicole or anything like that. Looking at his cooldowns are garbage. I mean, straight garbage.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
His change repertoire is a 12 turn cooldown. You're going to use it
Bad.
once for 1 turn worth of buffs and breaks, and you're done.
Buffs aren't even that good.
No, they're not.
Yep.
So it's just
Wait, doesn't that though lead into a better skill? Because I thought I heard that his
I mean-
skill, he can bring out a skill and it might be able to recast multiple times.
I mean,
well, I think it's his best song.
yeah,
once
it's
you
Draconic
get to it-
Reverberation.
Yeah, once you get to it, you can keep recasting.
Doesn't
You can
his
keep
LB
recasting
also open it though?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that might not be bad then, because
I
as
mean-
long as you can get his LB up, which if you have an Entruster in your team, he might not be awful.
No.
No, I mean he's not.
I'm
awful.
sure. Okay, the thing is, right? I'm pretty sure like Velociraptor agree because I actually did use Roy as well, and he has a constant rotation, and he's like pretty much the easy mode unit to ever use because you just do the same thing. That's all he does, right? And in this way, that he gets something, you can get that rotation started faster, and also be stronger, is a good thing. It's a really good thing, right? So I'm not, I can't really say that Roy is a complete waste. If you need somebody to do something consistently and do all these things that you want for your team, that's fine. It's just that nowadays there are many units that fill all these other roles that there's not really a need for a bard. In other words, you probably have a breaker, you probably have a healer, you probably have somebody to give back MP, and usually it might be Nicole or somebody else. So he doesn't
Yeah.
really his slot efficiency is taken up by other units.
But one thing I will bring
I
up
mean-
about him is that we should also take in consideration we've also gotten Elfim. And say if you got an Elfim,
Elfim's LB's better, but that's it.
But at the same time, it's so costly.
He's a better bard.
But
No, I know, but I mean, I would say as a bard, Roy is better
is way
than
better.
Elfim.
mm-hmm.
But Elfim's LB, if you can build to gain LB quickly,
While keeping up your stats.
she's better.
Well, that's what the thing is. Their kits seem to be geared differently. She's more based around breaking an LB, and he's based around buffing and basically keeping consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then after that, wait. It's
Yeah.
very weird.
I don't think
My-
he's bad.
I
I
The
don't
thing
think
about Roy is he takes a while to ramp up,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and either then you're dead or you've already killed whatever you're fighting.
Right.
So-
To me, he doesn't take that much longer now.
he's
of
there
the
for like
stuff.
those really long fights.
Yeah, but even then, you're still better off with like a Nicole
Exactly.
or Zargarboth or something, because
Mhm.
any of the people that can, if you're not stuck singing and you can do multiple things,
That's way better.
you're so much better than a bard that can just buff.
Buff, break, heal, and mana and healing regeneration.
Yeah, I mean, I know, but you can get damage mitigation or element resistances out of other buffers. That's the while doing the
That's where
same
that-
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing I was saying about
Yeah.
his slot efficiency, right? Like you can get these things, and you can get it on demand. He is basically right.
Yeah.
So
One thing, what I mainly see him is just there. He's there for his cycle to learn. Whenever you get to the point where you're at that needed part where you have his cooldown skill, it's there. It's only going to be there
Yep.
for like those long fights. You're not going to be using him for like small things. And, like he has his uses. It's just there's better units than him. I think
all right.
Yeah.
So
next up.
Yeah, I'd say if you don't have like Cole or something, he's serviceable.
Mhm.
yeah,
I think what we should talk about next is Elfrida.
Yep. And she is her STMR is actually it's different because it's basically true double hand with a bunch of defensive stats. It doesn't make it bad. It's actually a pretty good TMR. You can use it as 50% double hand, true double hand, or you can throw it on your tank and get a lot of good stats for your tank. So it's very versatile STMR,
Ooh.
and you're never gonna need to use more than one of her.
Mhm.
So fuse all your Elfridas into each other to get this STMR.
At the same time, you can also use her for arena. She can be really good for arena. And one thing about that STMR is what I gotta say. As for those people that have Demon Rain, ooh, that is a really good STMR.
Yep,
That
agreed.
that makes him so much better. Keeps up his stats and also puts in double hand, makes him pump out more damage.
Yep.
I see her more to be used in arena, but at the same time,
Yeah,
Her normal-
she's an arena.
her normal kit's not bad. But like, if only she had a chaining partner is what she really needed. Like she can
Or
have.
they just need her ability to chain with other people like they did with Fry.
Mm-hmm. But we'll see with the enhancements if we
Mhm.
get a new one. But that's like quite a while's way.
I would have to say I do like the global buff of giving her 100% counter chance in her
Mm.
trust ability. I mean, since she's not capped on the amount of time she can counter, that could get nasty, especially in an arena.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see people having fun with her there.
Yeah.
One thing, she can be really good. It's just she has her areas. She has that provoke for the people that still need a provoke tank. Like she has it there. She provokes and she also breaks.
Yeah, but unfortunately, she's not a fairly strong tank.
That's the one thing that holds her back.
Well,
Mhm.
she could be a provoke tank, it'd be okay, because usually provoke tanks aren't taking majority of the damage. That's the AoE tanks.
Job. Yeah. One thing also, like, she gets certain abilities that boost up, like, ice resistance to your team and deals ice damage to enemies. She also gets in trust. That's something really
And
good.
trust is nice,
And I believe
but I mean, again,
her LB's not
it's gonna be hard to put her in your party.
Yeah, she is very, like, she gets, like, a lot, like, with her cooldown, she imperils by 100% ice, and she mitigates herself with damage and gets provoked.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad. Another one is that she gets to pretty much get a full heal and increase her defense, which she kind of gets it a little bit
She's more supportive than anything.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Mhm.
she is way more supporty. I don't see
Yeah,
her much from anything else, mainly.
I wouldn't see her as a primary provoke tank either, just because I mean your provoke is locked behind a cooldown that takes longer to recover than the amount of turns you have as a
Yeah.
provoke, and so especially that makes it worse if she dies. I mean, you're pretty much at that point, if you're
Screwed.
really going to use her, you kind of need an illusionist Nicole to
Mhm.
At the same
really
time,
make her that viable.
she also has her other two provokes, her Rigorous Cry and Clever Smile. She,
Yeah, I mean, she's just not the greatest unit
mm-hmm.
to use in the PvE. In Arena, she's a decent troll. Other than that,
She could do those ice imperils.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
So-
mainly see her for.
And the next unit is Blossom Sage Sakura, or CG Sakura. Her STMR is called Sakura's Robes. It's a robe, 14 defense, 42 spirit, 77 magic, lightning resistance 50%, and auto wound burst, which is 1 crystal per turn. That's a very good STMR.
I love
And-
this SMR.
Oh yes,
Yep,
it's
and you're never
amazing.
gonna need 2, so just fuse them together, get this STMR.
And he has
It's still sad that I still think that Dark Venus is the best robe still.
Yeah, that's the one thing. It's just this one also includes in LB fill, which I don't believe. With also at the same time, Dark Venus comes in with certain element resistances.
Well, she also
ailment.
Dark Venus has LB fill, right?
No,
How's
I think it's
that?
got MP refresh. I think has got.
Oh, is it MP refresh? Sorry.
Mhm.
But I do know that she gets spirit though, and having an extra 70 spirit is not a bad.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a very good STMR, and your main draw for the for CG Sakura at 7 stars is she can gain access to Pentacast,
Which is amazing.
which is 5 casts, and she can cast all her quick abilities.
which is really good because you could top
So
off
if
all those
you
finishing.
are, yeah, if you need a lightning finisher, she's going to be the one you're going to want to use more than likely. Another thing that she gets at 7 star is she can add lightning to physical to an ally, so she can basically imbue
be another
anybody
dash.
you want with lightning.
Too bad you can't dual cast that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's still very good.
Yeah,
It'd be too powerful actually if she could dual cast that.
it would because in there you would have like a mini dash, right? Another better dash that can actually do stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the imbuing is it would be so powerful for certain units that if you could dual cast them right now, it's too powerful.
One thing I
It
will
breaks
say
the game.
is yes, Dark Venus is way better than CG Sakura's, because Dark Venus also gains 30% MP stat, and gets auto refresh, and has resistances to paralyze and sleep, which is
But more magic. More magic.
it's by 5.
5.
By 5.
I know.
So-
They're both very good.
They're both very good. Yeah.
So what I like about Sakura's robe is the utility on it. You could slap this thing on a magic tank, you know,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and especially with the lightning resistance and stuff. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
You can
this
use
doesn't
it,
have to be, you know, like restricted to a mage or
mage.
anything. Either it's got utility beyond just putting it on a mage, and it's not restricted to,
females.
you know, females or anything like that.
Mhm. One thing also, this might be good for Beryl. That's how we'll get into him in a little bit. Is because it's not restricted to females,
No.
and it also gives that elemental resistances plus magic and spirit, which is really good. But
Alright.
besides that, yeah, she's really good. She's good for.
Yeah.
She's not that hard to
Okay.
kill
She's
either.
your lightning finisher.
Okay, my opinion, all right. You already have, to me, she's your go-to magic lightning finisher. Like, she parallels with Olive in that sense, because Olive is a physical, she's magical.
Yep.
But what she did in her 6-star kit, she does a lot better now in her 7-star. And because she
Once-
doesn't chain, her burst damage is off the charts.
Oh yes.
You know?
Mhm.
One thing also about that is her LB can do a lot of damage if maxed out, and is really easy to chain.
It's easy to chain, but I wouldn't recommend maxing out her LB.
I wouldn't either, but like it's
Nah,
there for
yeah.
the damage.
Yeah.
Unless
if-
you're a
if
radio
you-
lover.
If you do run into another another say Blossom Stage Sakura, it'll be nice to have let them chain their LB.
Mhm.
And possibly because Rydia shares the same
LB.
Pure Summoner Rydia shares the same
Kitty.
frames. Yeah, Kid Rydia shares some of the same frames. It won't break the chain, and it will just it'll be a pretty big chain. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yep.
And I remember
And-
because I used Rydia for so long.
And the last unit on this banner is
Yeah.
everybody's favorite global exclusive unit, Fravia. Her
Holy moly. Her kit.
STMR is a accessory that has 25 attack, 25 magic, and an effect called Fencer's Pose, which is true double hand of 50% for both attack and magic. This is a very, very, very good STMR.
It is really good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's sick.
And to keep in mind also, Fravia, her kit, like, helps her out so much. Like, one of her cooldowns, 21x damage, hybrid to one enemy, which is really good.
She can
And
use
if
it
you're
as
gonna build her if you're building her a true double hander too, you don't even need her TMR, which is really nice.
Yep.
You're only gonna lose a slight buff.
Mm-hmm. One thing also, you can also use Kurisame's STMR and you'll be fine. Like, the TMR ability, you miss out on a little bit, but it's not
Yeah.
that much.
Yeah, you miss. Yeah, not enough for it to matter. The extra stats you get from Kurisame's STMR probably makes up for that increase of 30% to attack and magic anyway.
Yep. And
Maybe I would like to include that her, the confusion with her STMR, that people might assume that it's not that good. It's that it's split stats. In that they have she gets a boost to, she has 25 attack and 25 magic, but it's if you take that as one offensive stat on the whole, and it becomes 50 total, as well as 50% to magic and 50% to magic to
Yeah,
attack,
well-
giving it 100%. You could say in total offensive stats, right? So
But what makes
now, Mhm.
But what really makes it good is the true double hand on it, because
yeah, of course.
it would be really. It would almost be too powerful if it had more than like. I mean, I guess it could have had a little bit more stats, like 30 flat. But if it was anything more than 40, it would probably be too
Plus.
powerful.
oh yes.
Mhm.
I agree with
Come
that.
on, I want it more powerful because I have one.
Go back to your corner,
Lucky you.
awesome.
I only have two of the unit myself,
Yeah.
so
Go back
But,
to your corner.
Unfortunately for her, though, uh, she didn't really get anything that makes her significantly better.
Well,
Uh,
unlike most, I would
Double
say, unlike
cast?
most,
Oh yeah.
Well,
unlike
I'm talking about compared to someone like Hio. So she's not better than him.
Well, at the same
And a lot of
time-
people thought that when she would get her 7-star, that she would be better than Hio.
well, she doesn't
And she's
have backloaded chaining,
Exactly.
but you have to remember her imperil is still stronger.
Mhm.
Yes,
right?
it
It's
is.
attached
So-
to it, and she does spirit damage, so she's just different.
Well, she
Yeah,
can do spirit damage. Yeah, I mean, but in most fights, she does.
She's
do
a
less
hybrid
damage than
unit, so
Hio.
she is doing spirit damage.
Yeah. Sometimes.
That's
Yeah.
sometimes.
If it's got high
And-
spirit, you're gonna build it for attack.
You also have to
That's
remember.
also another thing with Fravia, is she is very fight dependent on how you want to build her. Because if
Yeah.
if they have equal stats, defense and spirit, you're gonna want to build her with equal stats for attack and magic. If
Well-
one is higher than the other, you're gonna want to build for the other stat.
Right, and I was gonna make the point that her STMR, which is really good, kind of forces a person to build her stats equally because it's attack and magic. You have to put flat attack and flat magic on her that's equal to get the boost
Yeah,
of
I mean,
the
but
true double.
No, not really.
It doesn't really matter because you're gonna want that on her anyway.
Mhm.
Because it's best in slot for her for sure.
Even if you are a little off on the attack, it's having to worry about magic and attack, or if you're just going for magic. Sorry, if you're just going for attack with her, it still doesn't matter, just because the fact that it's just so strong and it's free basically.
Mhm.
You don't lose enough to worry about it.
Well, my point that I was making is that if you want to get the most out of that STMR, the use of it, right? The flat will have to go on obviously like the main clothing, the main equipment, and the boosts basically are going to have to come in the materia side, right? So you may want to build her evenly, and then on the materia side, you max out her attack or max out her magic however you want, right? But that's what I mean about building her that, you know, she still has to be built even in her equipment selection.
And also,
No.
unlike most units, though, she really needs to be 120 before she's actually any good.
That is true. She does need to be 120 to be really good.
Because she needs her 120 skill for her to be good.
Oh yeah, I agree with that because
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
it supports her a little bit more.
Yeah, she's not like a normal 7-star where you could get them to 110 and then be fine. She needs to get to the 120.
Yeah, the only thing I really annoyed by is the fact that her TMR, even though I'm kind of happy at the same time, just doesn't really do much for her unless you do not have the equipment to build true double hand.
Yeah.
Because all it is it's basically true dual wield for having her TMR on.
Mm-hmm. And a little bit extra stats, but yeah.
It's just there can be better. It's just
Well,
And I think we are gonna get better because I think Aurora Fravia is going to be a lot better than she is.
gonna be bananas.
I don't know about bananas, but
I'm saying
she's
for
gonna
that
be better. She's
STMR.
gonna definitely be better.
That's why I'm
Aurora
leaning-
Fravia is definitely gonna be designed to kind of outshine Bravia, and
At the same time, keep in mind they're gonna be both working together.
right,
But
she's still gonna be better than Fravia.
a lot of people find this mixed. What I say about it is try to build it as best as you can. Like, if you can't build a true double hand, just give her TMR with another
Yeah.
weapon. It makes
Yep,
it easy
she,
for you.
That's one thing with her is she doesn't lose a ton by making her dual wield.
It's just with her
She
enhancements.
doesn't lose a ton.
Her enhancements
So,
is what you take into
yeah, if you
consideration.
can't build her true double hand, go dual wield, and you're not gonna lose that much.
Mm-hmm.
She is obviously stronger true double hand if you can build her that way. And she's very fight dependent on how you're gonna gear her up.
Yeah, because remember, she's locked to ice. So, just depends on the battle.
Yeah, she's locked to ice, but I mean, it's more of what's the defensive stats of the boss you're fighting.
Mm-hmm.
That's what matters more. Like, if it's equal, you're going to want to build her attack and magic equal. If the defense is high, you're going to want to build her magic really high. And if her attack, or if the spirit's really high, you're going to want to build her attack really high.
Yeah. And just in general, she's good.
Yes, she's good.
Moving on to
Alright.
like the next batch is part 8, which includes Pyroglacial Laswell, Fulhin, Lunera, Gladiolus, Noctis, and Lauren.
Yeah.
Let's start off with Fulhin.
All right. So, unit-wise, he's awful.
Oh,
STMR wise,
amazing.
it's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's amazing. It's pretty good.
Comes with a wind resistance by 80, I believe.
Yep.
It's not bad.
It's not heavy armor, which is really nice.
And it's there. It's there. For
It's light armor.
Keep in mind, we don't have that much wind resistance gear for body pieces.
Nope.
And
And
so like
it's
that helps.
it's very
niche.
It's good. It's a good for attack, but it's also got the secondary use that you could use it on a magic tank, or just even like say your DPS unit needs wind resistance for a fight. This is not a bad option. It's a good STMR. It's not something amazing, but you're never gonna need 2 Folins, so you can fuse them together because Folin is just bad.
Yeah. At the same time,
Honestly, I have a different opinion on that because I see the use in all units, like the potential that they can have, and I don't make the assumption that everybody has all the units, right? So if this is what you have, and if it's also fight dependent, let's say something that's the enemy's extremely weak to wind and they are immune to spirit, let's say damage, right? Fallen can be considerably useful in this particular fight, or depending on, let's say he has now a jump ability. Guess what? If the opponent does something that you can skip a turn, his jump might be useful. Or in the future, we will have a better unit, obviously upgraded version that will probably beat all dragoons. He might be pretty good.
Well, it's not that he's like the worst thing ever, but the problem is he just doesn't have anything he's great at. He has the provoke that gives him the capability of dodging things, and he has the other skills where you buff the team or debuff the enemy. That he's a master of. He has a jack of all trades, but doesn't have all the trades.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have all the trades. That's the biggest problem with him. And I'm not trying to say he's the worst thing ever, but if you were to focus on him to make him good, it would require way too much. And yes, there's very niche situations where he might actually benefit, but for the most part, he's a provoker. It's hard to get his damage high enough to make him a decent jumper.
One thing also, keep in mind, he also has an ability that has time jump, which is gonna be like brought up more slowly, but like it's slow steps, but like his kit is kind of hard to support.
Yeah, and also about that time jump, it was they lowered the damage when they gave it a time jump, so it's not as powerful as it used to be.
Well, see, here's where I'm going to disagree with that a little bit, because it was a 15 times modifier in Japan, but it wasn't a time jump.
Right.
That is true.
Now a time jump at a 6 times mod, which is more than Roberta has, and yes, I know Roberta has killers, but you can chain cap a time jump, which you can't with that move in JP.
Well, the biggest problem with his time jump is not the fact that its modifier is bad in this case. It's just he's hard to get good damage on because he
Right.
just does not have good passives built into his kit. That's
Hmm.
my biggest complaint about him is because he was built originally to be a provoker. He doesn't have a lot when it comes to damage, and then they're like suddenly giving him damage skills.
One thing I will bring up about this, with Fulham, his kit, like with his time jumps, most of the time jumps require quite a bit of setup. First, you like say like you're like you gotta imbue it with an element. So like say like you're doing Ice Bird and you've never beaten it. He has a Fire Spear, and you have to set up like you're like, oh hey, I gotta make sure my units live, and I gotta make sure the bird is broken. I believe it could be broken, but or imperiled. If you imperil the bird more, then after that you could chain cap that finishing jump, which helps him out. I know there's Roberta, but at the same time, say if you don't have Roberta, and you have two Fulhin's there. His kit doesn't help him out much, but that time jump, it can kinda help you out. It has its uses. I will agree. He doesn't have the stuff to support him.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have the kit behind him. That's the
No.
biggest
That's
problem.
the biggest thing.
Yeah, I would
So-
agree with that.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
If he had more passives to boost his attack, he'd be good. If he had more passives to build his defense, then he could actually be an actual provoker. He'd be good. But they kind of didn't do either.
Yeah.
Eh, eh.
He's not that great. I mean, there's not much we can really say, honestly.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
let's continue on and let's talk about Gladiolus. A big old Gladdy Daddy. What
Yeah.
if-
His STMR is actually, I would call amazing, but I tend to like support stuff better.
Mm,
It's HP 50%, defense 30%, and it increases defense by 100 when your HP drops below 80%.
That
So
last
it's-
part kind of stupid, but the rest of it's
Nah,
amazing.
it's not bad if you're not carrying a buffer.
True.
he has
And,
his kit where, like, one thing I will say, his STMR, it's really good, but it just depends on what you're going to use it for. That's how it is with every single unit's STMR and Trust Mastery. What I gotta say is pretty much what I've seen with JP. They've pretty much just used him just so they would get the stat cap missions, which
Yep.
he is very easy to get to. I will say that.
Mhm.
He is worth getting to 7-star once we get those stat missions. But right now, he's
Bad.
he's not bad. He is very niche. He has single target cover. And what I've seen with certain people, they've been using him for certain trials. They've been using 2 Gladiolus. I know that's wasting up 2 slots, but that will keep you alive. He can tank. People have used him. He is very good. When I played JP, he was one of my few tanks I had. He was my only tank I had. And he covered a lot of areas for me. Although his cover was just single target, but oh well, it's not bad. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
Yeah.
He
I mean, there's
has-
not much more. I mean, he's a okay tank.
Yeah,
We've got better.
I will.
I will
agree.
say one
If
thing
you
that
don't
I
ha-
actually liked about it was seeing this just like random attack modifier in his level 120 skill for using the Genji blade of all things. You know, this random trial weapon from the Gilgamesh trial, one of the older ones. It's just like you give that to him and boom, 200% attack. Like it's
That's weird.
Just weird, but it's like it's like a cool piece of flair in my opinion. You know.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
one
really
thing
odd,
also I will say about that links into the DLC of
Oh, that's right.
Final
Yeah, it
Fantasy
does. Yeah.
15. So it's there.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Then I didn't really play much of Final Fantasy.
I've played
15.
it, and you face Gilgamesh in that DLC.
Mhm.
But besides that, he's there for the stat cap mission.
Yeah.
He's there if you don't have a tank. He's good. He's not bad. But if you have something better, he's just there.
He's lackluster.
Yes.
So if you
Mhm.
don't have anything to fill a position, the best thing you got.
Let's talk about good old Noctis, the one who haunts awesome.
Master of all trades.
Question
Well,
mark?
no, jack of all
Jack of all
trades,
trades, master of
Master of
none.
none.
master of none.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, his skills just got worse.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get any better. His STMR did get better from what it was in JP,
But
but
it's
I
pretty bad.
still think it's very bad.
It's
It's
okay.
it increases your stats, all of them, HP, MP, attack, defense, magic, spirit by 20%, while also giving you 20% fire, ice, lightning, water, wind, and earth resistance, and giving you 2 LB crystals per turn.
That was the new global upgrade, was the LB crystals.
It's like a slight upgrade to Nyx's TMR.
Mm-hmm.
It's very underwhelming.
Yes.
I might use it on a magic tank though, just because.
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, it might be alright
Tied with.
on a magic tank, but it's
Mhm.
like, it's not better than like Krilla's TM even,
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
But at the
and
same
it's an STMR. That's
What-
not. That's my only problem with it. It's like TMR level. It's like 5-star TMR level
I will bring up this.
at STMR.
Keep in mind, Krilla is a time-limited unit.
I know.
Noctis isn't.
Yeah,
and
but I
it's-
mean, again, it's just the stats are so underwhelming.
Just keep in mind also from when Noctis was first released, he can't hold up now to this meta because his kit
No.
it was from way back when he first
Mm-hmm.
came out. He was a
Yep.
big step when he first came out, but like now he's just an
Yeah.
old dusted
Yeah,
trophy.
he's still a good arena unit, but again,
That's all. That's
you're
what
not
his main
really gonna
is.
use him as anything else. The only other kind of role I can see him being viable as is a dodge provoke tank,
Yeah.
and he was doing that when he was at 6 stars anyway. He didn't really get anything to make that better.
Well, if you don't have a buffer, he's actually not a bad buffer. Using his.
LB, yeah.
One thing also, he also does have a chaining partner when he reaches 7-star, and that's Luneth. But at the same time, the one thing about
Oh yeah, that random skill.
it's random.
Random's not good.
Yeah.
When anything says random, it equals not good.
Because you're going off of like I believe it was 1 to 6 times, and
Mhm.
the Luneth is already locked in, I believe, but like it's all random. That's the one thing that hurts him. And also at the same time, it brings in 3 elements: fire, ice, and lightning. How are you gonna be able to elemental chain it with Luneth at the same
Mhm.
time? Like you could dual wield the 2 elements, but why would you do that?
Yeah.
You most of the time you never want to do that.
Well, you can elemental chain with one element. It's just the fact that
You're putting that in a 1 to 3 chance.
I understand.
He's there, but like he's mainly there for his TMR. That's all he is there for.
His TMR is still great.
Yeah, he still holds up.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but his TMR is better than his STMR.
Besides that, he's just there. He's alright now.
He's nothing special.
He's mainly for arena, for trolling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, besides that, I think we should talk about Lunera. Oh boy.
I like Lunera. I think she's really good.
She got quite the enhancements.
Her STMR is it's good, but it's really niche, and it's unfortunate that it's niche because it's just 100% physical and magic damage against demons with 30% dark resistance. That's very powerful, but only against demons. So you're not going to use it all the time, and it's,
And with the most,
in my opinion, underwhelming as an STMR.
yes, I will agree. I would rather keep 2 Luneras, honestly. 2
Mhm.
Luneras is way better because you can
Yep.
actually chain them now. Because one thing they did change about her was her cooldown. Her
Mhm.
cooldown allows her to get double cast, which is really good. And with her abilities, she could chain with the aerial array, which is like
Yep.
Victor,
Lilith.
Lilith, Lucius.
There's a lot of them though.
Yeah, there's been quite a bit now.
Lauren is another one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Lauren has one.
Malphys.
She,
There's a lot of areola ray chainers, and areola ray, the areola ray chaining family in global is a lot better than it was in JP.
oh yes, I will agree with that.
It seems that global is trying to stack both octo slash and areola ray chainers,
Mm-hmm.
and
One thing
I really like Lunera for the fact that basically with areola ray chainers, you can have almost a full team of areola ray chainers and not basically die the next turn because you just stacked all offense.
Oh yeah.
Because you can have Lilith, who's a tank, who's an AoE magic tank, Victor, who's a single target physical tank, Lunera, who can be a buffer.
A bard, a spoony bird.
Well, her cooldown abilities gives everybody 135%.
Yes,
3 turns.
I just wanted to make the joke
And
of it.
Lauren is an amazing breaker. And then you have a couple other damage dealers that you can throw in there that chain with Areola Ray 2. And the thing with all these units that have Areola Ray chaining family is none of them lose damage by bringing another roll.
Oh,
So
yeah?
like Lilith scales off her spirit, so you can stack her spirit as a magic tank. It's going to help her out, but it's also going to help her do way more damage. Same with Victor, because he scales off defense. Lunera, her buffs are static, so you don't need spirit or anything like that to make her stuff better. So you can just stack magic on her, and her passives are to a point where she's very easy to build her magic extremely high if you use her TMR.
Yeah,
So
she's really good.
she's really good. Her global exclusive buff by adding the double cast to her
helps her out
cooldown
a lot.
spell is just makes her,
Bananas.
yeah.
She likes to
She's
eat 'em.
one of the best units in this batch.
I wouldn't say that.
She's top 3.
She's top 3 for sure. It probably goes Lauren, Fravia, and then Lunera.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of which, I think we should also discuss another chaining family, which is with CG Laswell, aka known as Pyroglacial Laswell. He was the first one in Japan who had introduced Absolute Mirror of Tranquility, or Equity in Global. That is a chaining family that has been growing a lot in JP.
Mhm.
In Global, we currently have Draco Laswell.
3.
3, yeah.
Yeah.
Demon, well, not demon,
Draco.
Vampire.
Draco Laswell, Machina, and him.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate that because in JP, when he came out, he was the first one. CG Laswell was the first one, but
He lost it.
significantly later than he was in JP, so he's not the first one. But I mean, it's a good chaining family that's just going to get better. And for the time being, he also has Divine Ruination chaining, so he becomes a pretty good chainer.
One thing
He's
I will...
not like super good, but he's easy to build because of the passives he can get from his story mission.
Purple Lightning.
Yeah, because he gets 40% attack from that, just equipping that weapon,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got dual wield in his kit. He's a very good unit if you don't have a ton of top tier units.
I will agree with that.
And he gets better as more Absolute Tranquility
I will
units
say
come out.
he is very free to play friendly.
Mm-hmm.
because his own story quest gives him his katana that gives him 40% more attack.
Hmm.
And everything else he gets from it, like his clothes, he gets ailment resistances. And his insignia, which I would never use, gives him 5% MP every turn.
He's good.
Yeah, he's just good because he has a lot of things that can help him out.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. Not like great, but he's good.
I'll say just as somebody, I ended up with 4 of him. While he's not top tier, I'm a little bit excited to try and just mess around with him. I mean, he looks like he could be somebody fun just to play around with, and still do some decent damage with your Hyos and your Reagans if you don't have Hyo, and Fryevia, because if you at least +1 Frost Flower Blitz, then that's DR frames as well. So, I mean, you can have some fun with this guy, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Zestimar looks
Question:
pretty.
Are you gonna make 2, or are you gonna go for Zesty?
No, I made his STMR.
All the way.
I
Yeah.
went all the way.
There's not very many units where you're better off making 2 than getting their STMR.
Yeah, I would agree with Lunera being one of them. I mean, shoot, you can maintain that cooldown uptime 100% with 2 of them.
Yep.
Well, the biggest thing about the reason why I asked about the Laswell is because his katana, it is good, but it's something fantastic because it's non-elemental and it's a single-handed katana.
Yeah.
So it's not amazing, but it's still a very strong
Well,
TMR.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't need to be two-handed because you're not building Laswell as a TDH anyway. I mean, he's got
you're
all
not.
the
You're
true dual
building him
wield
as
stuff.
Yeah.
I know,
So-
but it doesn't bring anything to the table. We have 50 with cannot think of his name right now. Sephiroth's TMR. That's why I'm like, it's a 20 attack jump, 22 attack jump, and it gives some Esper stat bonuses and LB crystals. So it's not the most amazing jump ever. So having 2 people that can AK chain or AE, whatever it's being called on global, might be nice to have. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, I mean, I can see your point there, but I mean, I don't know. I like a lot of the STMR swords and stuff are 180 attack anyway, so this isn't really lacking that much, I don't think. I mean, to the point where I was worried about it anyway. The Esper stat increase I think is pretty good, considering it also pairs up with another one of his skills that gives you some more of that too.
It's amazing for him.
Which I believe. So it's obviously it's more meant for him than like where like you mentioned Sephiroth's STMR, which you can pretty much put that on anybody who can use katanas, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can see where this one doesn't necessarily hold that same amazingness, because the things beyond the attack don't seem to carry over as well to people beyond him. But I mean, like I said, I'm gonna have fun with him. I'm gonna use him from time to time and have fun with him.
It's gonna be
Alright.
a lot better.
And last but not least,
Lauren.
probably the best unit here is Lauren.
Oh, amazing.
She's basically the breaker you want to have. She is crazy good because she does both break and a lot of damage. Her STMR, not super amazing. It's a 170, 20 defense, 20 spirit greatsword, so it's okay. Nothing crazy. But you're gonna, I mean, it's really difficult to justify not getting an STMR over having 2. There's very few units that you want to do that to, but Lauren's not really one of them. I mean, you're really taking her for her breaks. She does good damage, but it's not to a point where you're gonna want to take 2 Lauren rather than taking somebody else.
I will also say this. She can also chain with the Onion Slice family, which is Onion Knight's Trust Mastery ability when he has it equipped. As for so we have certain people, like one of our friends, he has Onion Knight. He currently uses him a lot because it's very free to play friendly for him. and he doesn't have much for the gear. This is a really good unit if like you have an Onion Knight and you
Mhm.
just started off the game. This is amazing because you can have another chainer.
Yeah.
It's really good, and also at the same time, Lauren has another chaining family, which is Aerial Array, lightning
Yeah.
and wind element with it.
And like I was saying before, you can put together a party of all aerial array chainers and
You'll
chain the crap out of people with aerial array. Because aerial, even an aerial array is a very easy family to chain with. It's surprisingly easy, and that's one of the reasons why it makes her so strong. She's also I mean, in JP she was a pay-to-play unit,
Oh yeah,
but
I
her kit
remember.
is actually pretty free to play. She's got really good passives, and she's got dual wield innate in her kit. And she's just you can get her to have pretty high attack with like bare bones equipment. And the only thing that's strange about her is her TMR is dual wield with some attack passives, and she's already got dual wield in her kit, so it's kind of weird, and it doesn't really hurt. Like her TMR doesn't give her a ton in the way of usefulness.
Besides that, it changes her LB, which is giving her a 70.
Yeah, that's the main thing you want her TMR for, is because the upgrade to her LB is significant.
What makes her good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with the upgrade, I mean, you pretty much have the opportunity to have 100% uptime on 70% plus breaks, because I mean, you have her cooldown, which does 70% to all 4 stats, and it is a 6-turn cooldown, but with also the 200% limit break fill rate, chances are likely in the next couple of turns you're going to max out her limit burst gauge, and then you use her limit burst, which basically is like her cooldown. 74% cooldown, or 74% break to all 4 stats.
Yeah, lightning, wind, and light resistance down by 79%.
Yep. And so by the time that wears off, you got your cooldown again and can re-break and rinse, repeat.
That's basically why she's so good.
Yeah.
And on those odd turns that she's not doing her LB, she can use aerial array or onion slice. She's a very good trainer.
Well, besides that, each one of these units, like how we said in each batch, like the parts of them, they will be having their step-up summon. It will be a total of 14,000 lapis for a full lap. And keep in mind, this is a pretty good chance to get what you want here.
Because unlike some of the previous banners we've had, limited ones, where they haven't locked the banner units to the only rainbows you can pull, on these banners, if you pull a rainbow, you're getting one of those units. So if you want one of those units, it's actually the best time to pull for them. If you're looking for only one, that's when you kind of have to think about it if you want to pull, because especially if you have UOC tickets, and I'm like looking at it like if you're looking for a Lauren in particular or a Fravia, you might want to test your luck first to see if you get lucky before using a UOC ticket. They're both definitely worthy of a UOC ticket.
Oh yeah.
Lauren more so, but these step-up banners are very good, and your chance of getting them is actually pretty high. So I would go for them. The Fravia banner is a little bit better because it's only 5 units, so your chance of getting one of those units is a lot higher, and the quality of the units on the Fravia banner
Oh, here's the
is
thing.
actually a little bit better
The Fravia banner.
overall.
The Fravia banner is really good because it has a lot of good TMRs. Like
Yeah.
Roy's is really good for mages. It's a magic hat. Which, keep in mind, we do have the 10-man trial, but it's also there for people that cannot do a 10-man. It's really good if you can't do a 10-man. Elfrida. Dude, it's the TDH True Double Hand meta.
Yep.
You're gonna need it. Balthier is one I would not give attention to. It's a gun. We've had too many guns now. Olive's gun is really good already. And you don't have that many gun users in the game. You don't really want it.
Yeah, I mean, again, these banners, they're good, but they're very account heavy.
Mm-hmm.
If you want the units, and
They're
especially if you want more than one, if you're looking for 2 or 3 on one banner, by all means, pull, because your chance of getting something you want is really, really high.
Unlike how it was for me when I tried to get Transterra. Oh, that hurt.
Dude, I tried to.
I got 5 Nixes at the end of it.
I think I got my second Nyx and my second Onion Knight out of it, or my third Onion Knight or something.
These banners.
Anyway,
are weird.
there's also another banner, and this has got 2 new units, and these are the FanFest units. So these are player-created units.
And they're the winners, actually,
From
Yeah.
last year.
from FanFesta. I think we should talk about is Beryl. He is...
Beryl first.
Ooh. Yeah, Beryl.
I mean, he's not bad, but he's not super strong either. He's both a mage and a tank at the same time, and that kind of hurts him in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Because his stats are low, like his base stats are low for both a mage and a tank.
Which is
And his
kinda weird.
his stat pot increases are also low because it's the flat 50
Mm-hmm.
that you get with a regular support unit, where a tank is going to have their defensive stats going to be high. They're going to have a higher spirit than he has, and his magic is really low for base magic for a mage.
He's very odd.
Yeah. He's got the moves. He has the moves to be a decent tank. I just think his stats are very lacking. And his equipment selection is also very lacking for a tank. He can only use daggers, swords, and great swords, but you're gonna want to use a dagger. All his passives are from using a dagger. No shields on a tank.
That hurts.
That hurts him a lot.
Because
He can wear hats, clothes, robes, and accessories.
like everyone else.
Yeah.
And his weapons is daggers, swords, and
I mean,
great
yeah.
swords.
the fact that he can use robes is nice, because he can use
Murray's.
the rainbow robe,
Mm-hmm.
but he doesn't have the equipment selection other tanks do. Most other tanks have a lot better equipment selection, because you're not gonna, like, right now you almost need his STMR, which is a 10 attack, 142 magic, 142 spirit, 40 light, and 40 dark resistance, with an extra ability called the Signs of the Father, which gives him 50% TDH magic.
True
basically.
double hand magic.
Now,
Here's the thing. One thing I will say about this. Oh wait, I forgot. It's only exclusive to him. I was gonna say, it would be really good if it wasn't locked off to him. Like you can also
but
use
it
it
is.
for like
So,
Fravia,
yeah.
but no.
In my opinion, this is almost a unit where you need his STMR.
At the same time, I will digress. You can also use like Nyx's Super Trust Mastery.
Yeah, but it doesn't have any spirit on it. That's the problem. And right now, I think the highest spirit dagger we have is the
Defenders.
dagger from the Rem Type 0 Mog King event. Yeah, I think it's got 35 spirit on it.
Yes. It's pretty
So
low, though.
it's really low. He can't use a shield. He does have true double hand spirit in his kit, but it's only 25%. So if you're equipping him with with a dagger, so you're equipping him with Rem's dagger, and then you put regular spirit gear on him for tanking, you're not even making up enough spirit for it to
Live.
come close to replacing the shield is what I'm kind of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And that paired with his low stats and his passives are good for spirit and magic, but he does not have a lot of HP. So
It's just very awkward, in my opinion.
yeah, I mean, he could be an alright mage if you build him for straight damage, because he can chain with Octo Slash, Divine Ruination, and Chaos Wave.
That's a lot
So
of
he
bandwidth.
chains with a lot of people.
It's just we don't know how he would be equipping him. Like how I
He's
see
just-
him is that either you build him as your provoke and cover magic tank, which will
Yep.
be really hard to build, or you're gonna have him built chain.
for magic. He cannot do both. There's no way
Mm-mm.
you can build him as a tank and have him do good enough damage.
One thing I will say though, you can have him there to chain at least, and like you could build up your numbers.
Yep.
He's there for like one turn, so you could do that. But besides that, it's either the one or the other.
And his counters aren't very good.
Yeah,
Oh.
they're duty, especially because one of them is physical. No.
And it can only be
Freaking-
done once.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the physical can only be done once?
Oh,
Whatever,
I
doesn't
see.
really matter.
Two times, but still, it's not.
It's just
It's physical, and he's not a
It's
physical
only there
character.
to build up his limit first. Honestly, to build up.
Yeah, but it's just
Then why would they give it a 6 times multiplier?
yeah.
Heck if I know, honestly.
Yeah, that's just he's okay. I don't see. I mean, like Lilith is a better version of what they tried to do with
Beryl.
in my opinion, because the one thing Lilith has is that all her
She's an
magic
exclusive.
abilities all scale off spirit, so you're not losing damage on her when you're building her to tank unless you're using a lot of element resistance gear.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you can get Lilith to like 1700 spirit, and she'll do really good damage. Here, you may be able to get him to have high spirit. I don't know, but if you do that, he's gonna have no magic, and he's gonna not do much damage.
It's just very awkward, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think his biggest problem, at least for me right now, based on his kit, is he basically has two units kits in one. However, there's not really a space for either of them with all the magic tanks that we have now, and also the damage dealers that we have as well that don't require 9. He is he doesn't really fit a place, even though he does two sets of things. Like nobody really needs him, you know.
Mhm.
That's basically,
Yeah.
how I see his stuff, what he's able to do, you know.
Yep.
Um, besides that, um, he's just very awkward. Is all I'm gonna say. He can have his uses. It's just he's very weird to build because he
Yeah,
can't
but
handle
I
the
mean,
shields.
right now, I think he's probably the worst AOE magic tank we have.
Mhm. He's gonna die quickly.
His stats are too low.
Mhm. Well, on the other hand, we also got another unit with this banner.
Ellesperis,
Yes, Ellesperis.
and
Oh,
she is very interesting.
I like how she is.
She's very noob friendly.
Yes, because she's a very noob friendly true TDH unit, which is hard to say because usually TDH gear is very hard to come by. But with this unit, if you have her TMR, which is 140 attack katana with 30 spirit, which is decent. It's one-handed, which hurts for true double hand, but she has 250% true double hand in her kit if you're using her TMR,
Trust mastery.
which means you only need 50% more to get her to the cap. And
Which
you
I
don't need true double hand. You can use double hand because her katana is one-handed,
one-handed.
which means and we've gotten double hand in Mog King events a couple times now, I think. So keep that in mind. In her passive, she gets 150 attack passive if you're using her TMR basically in her kit from the get-go. That's also very high. She's gonna have really high attack. She also gets a lot. She can imbue herself with killers, and with her TM, she's gonna have 50% versus demons and humans. She can add demon killer and human killer to her attacks, and she can chain with divine ruination and octo slash. She also has another chaining family that hasn't really come out yet.
Mind if I
Called
bump in real quick
Yeah.
on this? Graviton family is a family that gets later on introduced. That comes in. That family gets introduced once Maria from Xenogears gets brought in. She is the first one that brought in that cheating family, and how it seems like right now, this character might be bringing in that family a little bit too early, but it's gonna be good. Her modifier for it's pretty good, but it's locked behind a cooldown. Units that can use this are like CG Charlotte, Zack,
2B.
2B from the JP 2B, not our global. There's a lot of units that have been kind of been using this, but like they've been very finicky about it.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on how it's being taken.
And she's got a lot of other cool abilities, like she can ignore fatal damage. She gets a buff for going under 40% or 41%.
One thing to keep in mind with that buff, it is also kind of working like how Queen is. Once you reach down to a certain amount of health, they get a ridiculous amount of attack boost.
It's a lot weaker than Queen's.
It is,
but
she's also gonna have a lot more. She has more TDH passives in her kit. She's got more attack passes in her kit, and she's got killers, which makes up for that.
The main thing about her is she's very good for fights whenever you're against demons and humans. Besides that, if you're not fighting that, Hio is still better.
Right, because I don't think she has weighted attacks, right? I
The
don't think she's
backloaded?
got
No, I don't think she
backloaded
does.
ones.
But we may be wrong. Things are subject to change.
It's kind of hard to change at this point, though, I think. But
you
don't
never know. You never know.
But
So
she
we-
is definitely very good.
And also, would probably be worth talking about is her super Trustmaster reward. That is pretty good, especially if you
Mm-hmm.
because it's 40% attack when you wear clothes, 40% attack when you use a katana, and it also gives you 25% human and demon killer. And so if you wear clothes and use a katana, that does stack, so you get 80% attack.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty huge.
Like you could still
Especially
use
in the
it with,
future.
you could still use this like with Hio's clothes because it's not a super trust mastery, but it could give you a pretty good amount of attack, and it's clothes.
Well, with Hio's clothes, though, you'd lose out on...
I know you miss out on that, but I'm saying this. It's not also taken into consideration of super trust masteries.
Right. There's a lot of good clothes you can use for extra attack.
Like you,
It's a very good STMR.
mm-hmm.
You're probably not going to need 2 of her anyway.
My opinion on her is obviously her kit seems very much like a mishmash of Queen and Hio together, and she is to me she's really good that she can basically as the new TDH meta is in, and we have people who can triple cast and stuff. She works with Hio, she works with Privia now, and the thing about her that it seems kind of like she's less of, I would say, a person to hurt herself the way that Queen does, because they made it very specific, because they have her being able to buff 150% to attack and defense when she hits 41%. In other words, I want you to take down 60% of her health, right, in some turn, so that you can get this. However, the only thing in her kit that allows you to sacrifice 60% damage to herself is probably dual casting her or double casting her her blood sacrifice move, right? And she would require a healer to heal her, right? She can't actually do the damage and then try to heal herself, because then she wouldn't hit that percentage, right?
Yeah.
And she only gets it for 2 turns, so they considered, would we have to get this buff throughout the fight? No, she only gets it for 2 turns. So when she does it, she only can do it for the next turn. All right.
Well,
So-
I could see her doing her triple cast by using her, because I think her transmute works with her triple cast, where she could steal at the end of her turns
Yeah.
to get HP back.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, but that's a triple cast,
Yeah, and basically she's going to do enough damage to fully heal herself, if that works. If her... doesn't say, it just says use Ellesperis skills twice in 1 turn. I assume that means or well,
Skill,
3 times
all of her
if you're using
skills,
your...
right?
Right.
So I guess we'll
I
have
don't
to see
know.
when she comes out if she's going to get to use Force Transfusion as part of the...
yeah, it's
Double cast?
double cast and triple cast, yeah.
Right.
One thing I do like about what's one move in her kit is the overflow. She has the ability to grant a barrier and give herself auto revive, which she
Yep.
would probably have been dependent on a healer or something. At least it could free up your healer while she knows that she might die.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty good.
At the same time, most of the time you will need a healer with you. So
Well, yeah, but that's... I mean, you're going to bring a healer to almost every fight anyway.
oh,
Yeah, but a lot of healers can do something other than heal, but with her in the party, it makes it more difficult to do that.
Yeah.
well, about these units, it's gonna include. There's no other units in this banner. It's just these 2 5-stars. There's not going to be any boosted rates for 4 stars or 3 stars, because there's not going to be any with them on the banner. They will be having a step up. It is a 25,000 lapis step up. This is different from when Malphys and Cersei was released. Malphite and Cersei had a 20,000 lapis step up. This one, it's 25,000. It's still not bad. It's just Beryl's kind of the troll here.
Yeah. I think this is a skip.
I will say it is a skip, but here's the one thing I will take into consideration. We are also going to be having a free 10+1 tomorrow, or on Friday. And once you use it, and see if you get one of those units. If you get one, that's when you make the choice.
Mm-hmm.
If I got a Beryl, I don't know how it would feel, but I would kind of give it a chance. But
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see how... Unless you don't have a damage dealer. Or a magic tank, I guess. I probably would skip this banner.
Well,
Or if you, I mean, but if you like the units, like the looks of them, then go ahead. It's not.
it's not about the
Yeah,
use,
they're just not... They're not,
about
like,
how you
top tier.
It's about what you like. For me,
Mhm.
like how these guys, they didn't want to pull for Citra. I liked Citra. She's really good for me. I liked her.
She's your waifu.
Yes.
One of them.
So
At least this one's not a lolly.
I will say the only reason I didn't pull for Citra is because I was broke after KO.
Broken wallets.
I would say in my case, I like playing with new and interesting units. So if I do get a Beryl, I'll play around with him. I want to see, like, can he actually be slot efficient? Can he actually maybe be used in some form of niche fashion or anything like that? And because units that do crazy things and weird things, to me, sometimes they have a really powerful, they can be very powerful at times when you need them, so maybe if I do, but in terms of a 7-star kit, maybe I won't if try to get him. If I do get one, I'll just play with him. His 6-star kit does, you get to experience most of his moves, so it's not even worth, unless you want to chain with chaos.
Most
Right.
of the time, what I'm gonna say on this is just, it's a skip for me.
Mhm.
I was really looking forward to Beryl, but I am extremely disappointed, and now my day has been ruined because of him.
I just think you're gonna get better value out of pulling on the other two banners.
Oh yes, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, maybe give it a shot if you pull on the free 10+1 and you get one of them. Maybe give it a shot to try and get a second one, but neither of these units are probably game breaking.
Yep.
In any way.
Besides that,
So
they're all right. Alongside with this, we are going to be getting a farming event. Is what we're
question
getting.
mark? We don't really know.
we know it's a farming event, but like
We know it's a new event. It's called a wave event.
battle, yeah. Which is
We don't know what that really is.
As what we've gotten information on is that it's supposedly a King Mog event, but what we see here on the news, it doesn't
Says
look
differently.
like it. Because we don't get event currency here for the stages or anything saying that puts King Mog. And the one good thing I like about this, for people that weren't able to farm as much for the UFC ticket, it's there for you at the beginner level. It's amazing. It's a little mission. You don't use items, you get the ticket.
Yep.
Which makes
It's
it
definitely
really
worth it.
nice. Well, you go through all of these stages, you're going to be getting crafting recipes. And these crafting recipes, if you're new to the game, they are really good for you. I will say it. Because like some
Not
of
so
these,
much.
like
Not so much if you've been around for a while.
yeah, I agree. But like we got here like metal earrings, which is for Ellesperis, and it gives you 18 attack and gives you a 20% attack boost when you equip a katana with her, which she has, which really helps her out for new players. The torn dress, which is also, keep in mind, that's also Hisiko's dress. Funny thing. It's
That's not bad.
yeah, it's not
That's
bad.
pretty good.
It
But other
nullifies
than
stone.
that, the materials are kind of just meh.
So-
so-
They're for really new people.
I'm actually curious. The katana and spirit materials, did they release what percentages those were? Because those could be good if they're at least 30%.
I did not look into that yet.
I don't remember seeing it. I don't remember seeing them yet.
But if they're not
I
at least 30%, then I would say they're only good for new players.
Um, I think they might be good.
But the demonic might and demonic mind are garbage unless you're brand new.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, it's still some killer, but
Like I said, if you're brand new, that's fine. I mean, any killer is better
Mhm.
than no killer.
and also it comes with
but-
15%
but-
attack.
But if you've been playing for a while, they're not great.
Yeah, if you've been playing for a long time, you might still have the old version of 15% to like basically all killers.
So right
Yeah.
now, what I've seen here on the data of it, it is 20% attack for the
Oof.
katana, 20% spirit for the robe. It
Ugh.
hurts it, but keep
Oof.
in mind
Oof.
this is for new people.
Yeah, that's definitely if you're new, 20% is probably really good.
What I
Um,
will say this now, I would farm this if you're new. If you're a veteran, I would just do it in case of like certain things they're worth, but not really as much.
The
Well, it
way
depend-
I
it-
see.
it-
Mhm.
Depends on how the rewards are going to be. We don't know anything about them. We know what the crafting stuff's going to be, but there's always other rewards you get. If the rewards are just the missions for each stage, you do it once, and that's it for the event. More than likely for most people.
Also,
If
like, it can be really good. Is the main thing. It can be really good depending on what they do to the missions. If the missions are just gonna have lapis, it's their regular lapis. You just go in and you bail.
yeah, but I mean, it would be better if it had other things than just lapis.
I agree.
Hopefully.
One last thing I will say about this: make sure you bring a magic user. Hisako is very, very bad to deal with physical units. She will mess you up. She will inflict stone upon you and other and other ailments. So just be careful with what you do here.
I
Yes.
have one opinion about this event. I mean, I have to give credit to Gumi for trying something new because this is a unique event. However, it does feel sort of like a mishmash of basically it's a King Mog event slash could be considered kind of a raid event because we have the same raid boss and we also have kind of a a crafting thing going on. So like I don't know, it's kind of mishmash of all the stuff that we have, and it possibly can be pretty good if it's implemented well, and it also could be pretty horrible if it's not, right? Depending on like if it sucks all your energy, you have
Yeah.
nothing, and you know it and the rewards don't seem all that great, right? So as far as we can see at the moment, right? But you know we'll have to see for sure tomorrow of what we'll get, you know, out of it.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Again, my only opinion on trying new events for Gumi is when trying new events, I would overcompensate in the rewards department for something new, just because a lot of the time
They
an event's
undercompensate.
bad. They try something new like Christmas. They tried something new and they undercompensated us. And everybody hated it. And if they do that again, it's going to be less likely that they try something,
yeah.
because they're going to
I-
be like,
I
everybody
agree.
hated this event.
Yeah, because people would look forward to the events where they got something good out of it. Yeah.
Right.
And also, if you look at the events themselves, they weren't actually bad themselves. It was just the fact that the rewards were so hard to get and they weren't good enough. Like, Christmas event is a great example. You had to collect those candy canes, I think it was, to get just the ability to get these few items that were very meager, and they took hours to collect all the stuff for it.
Mhm.
It wasn't just like, oh, I can get one of these items in a day, and it's okay, it's not bad. But man, Christmas was bad when it came to just the amount they were giving it.
Oh,
Gumi, I have enough chores already at home. I don't need to to do another chore. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Another
Yeah.
thing though, it might not feel so bad either, just due to the fact that um, nowadays we have those pots, so we can do reruns a lot sooner rather than having to constantly stare at the screen when we have enough energy.
Yeah.
um,
So I do
it's
want to say a couple of quick things. First, I hope that this Hasako is more raid Hasako and less hard mode Hasako, and because that fight was kind of garbage. And I do kind of want to hand it to Gumi like overall for November because they've kind of knocked it out of the park. I think a little bit here. I mean, we're getting 4 EOC tickets this month, which is huge, and this has been a really, I would say overall, a very good 7-star badge. So
Yes.
I think they did very good this year or this month.
well. Besides that, any last thoughts? Anyone?
Nope.
Seems all good.
I am pretty excited to see what these new units and this new event is because any change within the game to me is something that's interesting and new, and I'm all for it.
I agree.
Basically.
Oh yeah, I really hope this event goes well because I want something different. I'm kind of tired of the whole Mog King raid story. Mog King raid
Great
story.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and to me, I do want the not just change, but I want like if we have all of these units, I want challenges. I want something that will make me think really hard about how I can approach something, in a very creative way, and I think that's the enjoyment of it. Yeah.
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 Well, besides that, I think that's all for this week. This time we may have gone a little bit too far, but I will say it was pretty interesting of what we've gotten this week. Let us know what you guys think for this brand new 7-star batch of what we've gotten. Are you going to be pulling for these units? If we do manage to pull these units on the 10+1, there might be a pull video, but guaranteed there will be a pull video from me pulling for Fravia and Elfrida because it's gonna be nice. But besides that, feel free to join the Discord. It's in the description. Also, follow Velociraptor42 on Twitch. He's an amazing streamer. He does retro games. He is a really good person.
I also do sometimes stream Brave XVS, so
That too. He's a good pal. But besides that, to stay updated on all the news, info, salty banner pulls, stay tuned here. Take it easy.
Good night, everybody.
good night,
Yeah.
everybody.
Later.